Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Tesla's Q3 earnings report. So a lot of people have been anticipating this earnings report. Some believe that some factors will cause the earnings to decrease. Some are hopeful and believe it will increase. So yeah, we'll be going through that in the video. And before we move on, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that noti bell, and comment with your questions and opinions down below. So yeah, moving on, let's go through Tesla's Q3 earnings report. So as we can see here, the adjusted EPS, which is earnings per share, Tesla had an EPS of $0.76, which was more than the expected $0.58. So they completely smashed it there. And then Tesla's earnings, so Tesla's earnings were $8.77 billion, I believe, which is $500,000 more than the expected $8.26 billion. So Tesla completely knocked it out the park in that regard as well. So it's looking very good for Tesla so far. They're also up on the pre-market due to this. And yeah, I believe we'll see a 5% increase in the pre-market based on this earnings. So as we may know, Tesla has already had its run up this year. So we won't see an increase in the pre-market of around 30%. And the aftermarket around 30% like we did with Snapchat after they announced their Q3 earnings. So as I said, I expect around a 5% increase based on these earnings. And then we'll get a dip after that when the short sellers do sell off. And Carlos will take you through why we'll see a dip in the Tesla stock as well.
Yeah, so even though the quarterly earnings, as he's just said, 8.77 billion is amazing, we don't expect like a big run up in Tesla. If anything, it might dip. So pre-market it's up now, I think nearly just over 4%. So this is just like a short-term catalyst because everyone's kind of excited about what's going on, but long term people still feel like Tesla is overvalued and the evaluation are still not justified by the earnings. So the big question is Tesla overvalued? And ultimately this is what will affect the share price. So we might see a dip in Tesla despite the quarterly earnings, and yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see, because the 400 billion market cap is high, and people still feel like because Tesla's still starting out, it's not justified. So even though it's going well, a lot of the evaluation priced into Tesla is based on future growth, and that makes sense. So like us, we're future not future but long-term investors, so we look for companies for future growth. And even if Tesla was to take a dip, which is very likely, we still see the long-term growth in Tesla.
Yeah, so based on this revenue that Tesla's generated, we just want to go through some of the sales. So in quarter one, Tesla sold 88,400 vehicles. Quarter two, there wasn't much change. Tesla sold 90,650 vehicles, but then it's quarter three where Tesla sales took off. So Tesla sold 140,000 vehicles in quarter three, and this takes us to a total of around 318,000. And as you may know, or if you didn't already, Elon Musk aims to sell 500,000 vehicles by the end of this year, and to achieve that he needs to sell another 182,000 vehicles. So right now we feel like he's on track. So if Tesla do continue at this momentum, it is very possible they could sell 182,000 vehicles, especially winter coming, which is a good time for the EV market. Yeah. This is where EV sales are at its peak. So it is very feasible, and if they don't achieve that 500,000, I feel like they could come very near.
Very close. Then even if you take a look at their solar deployed, because like we said in our last video, obviously Tesla trying to expand more into the energy sector and the solar sector. So if you look at 2019 quarter three earnings, it was at 43. Quarter four 2019 was at 54. Then obviously because of COVID, quarter one for this year dipped to 35. Then quarter two dipped even further to 27. But now I'm looking at quarter three, it's now basically nearly over doubled, so 57. So this is more than Q4 last year, more than basically the past 4 quarters. So the energy sector, the solar sector deployed is making a comeback, and we can expect that to have a huge impact and bring in loads of money for Tesla in the future as they begin to expand and produce more. They took a hit during COVID, now they've recovered, now they're back better than ever. So yeah, from looking at the Q3 earnings, everything is positive. You can't fault Tesla. Like everything they've promised sales, it's all going in the right direction.
Yeah, and to think this company was only profitable in 2018 as well.
Yeah.
And as you may know, Elon Musk said that they're not just about making cars; they're here to make a change for the future. And yeah, speaking on Tesla's.
Before you get into the future, so obviously there's even talks. Obviously, you've probably heard of it, but the robo taxi, so the self-driving taxi, which I feel like could be in place like in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's another source of profit revenue that Tesla can expect, which will easily knock out Uber and any competitors. So there's so many fields that Tesla is in that no one can compete with, because they've got the technology, they've got the patent that no one can compete with their technology. So Tesla is basically in a lane of its own. There's not much competitors, and they can do so much in the next decade to come. But yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just talking about how Tesla are here today. They're here. They're about future growth. They're here to reduce the emissions, and they also do have, what was it called, the regulatory credit. Yeah, so that allows Tesla to keep producing these electronic vehicles. And if you don't know what regulatory credits are, it's given by the government, and it allows you to keep producing. So if you don't have enough regulatory credits, then you can be penalized if you do continue producing. So what Tesla's also doing is, because they do have a lot of excess regulatory credits, as they are solely focused on EV and solar panels and just things that don't require carbon emissions, they do sell these regulatory credits to other companies. So recently they just sold around 1.3 billion to Fiat. Was it Fiat? Yeah, to produce one of their vehicles. So yeah, this is another source of income for Tesla.
So I feel like a lot of people are probably wondering like what to do now. Do you buy Tesla now? Is it gonna take off to $500, or is it gonna dip? Personally, I don't feel like it's gonna reach $500. Not now. Yeah, if it does, it will be a very short term. Then it will go back down. I feel like a dip will come, an opportunity to buy more shares. So obviously, yesterday or the day before, we saw a price of 420, which is the lowest we've seen in a long time, since it went to like 350. So that's been the lowest, and I feel like it could possibly dip lower than that 420 price, and I thought that would be like a good buying price to buy into Tesla, or just kind of add to your share.
So regarding Tesla, I know many of you may be skeptical on whether to buy the stock at this price. And as Carlos said, Tesla will take a dip soon. It's based on your risk where you want to enter, but just a few pointers. We do have the election coming up, which can affect the stock. We could see a dip, a short-term dip in the stock as well. We also got a stimulus check as well, so if that's passed, we could see a little rise in the stock. If it's not passed, we'll see a little dip as well. And we also have to remember the S&P 500 inclusion. So as we may know, Tesla weren't included the last time round, but I don't see any reason why in the near future Tesla will not be included in the S&P 500. So if this does get passed, we could see a rise in the Tesla stock. And also we have to remember that Tesla are expanded. So they recently shipped out some models to Europe from the China Gigafactory, which is one of the many gigafactories, and we do know that Tesla do want to increase their production. So if they can hit that 500,000 in 2020, then who knows how much they're going to produce in the coming future. They could be producing millions of vehicles per year. So yeah, you just have to price all of these things in and just think to yourself, where do you see Tesla going in the future? And yeah, I believe Tesla could even 3 times, 5 times its price in the future. And this is why I'm gonna hold my shares and buy more on any dips coming. So yeah, got anything else to add to it?
Nah, I think that's the end of the video. And if you've got any comments or just any thoughts, just comment it down below in the description, and also hit us up on our socials. But yeah, I think that's the end of the video. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll catch you in the next video.